There's a ticking time bomb at the very heart of our digital world. But what if I told you there's a simple little formula that can actually predict when it might just go off? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into, Moscow's theorem and the quantum countdown.
Okay, so let's just start with a really chilling thought. Right now, this very second, huge, massive amounts of the world's most sensitive data are being quietly siphoned away.
But here's the crazy part. The people stealing it, they're not even trying to break in now. Nope, they're playing the long game. They're just stockpiling all this data, waiting for a single day in the future when they'll have the master key to unlock absolutely everything. This whole strategy has a name, and it's as simple as it is terrifying. Harvest now, decrypt later. It's this incredibly patient, long-term heist that totally forces us to rethink everything we thought we knew about data security. See, this isn't about today's threats. This is a vulnerability that's just quietly growing in the shadows. So what's their ace up the sleeve? Quantum computing. Just picture it, massive digital vaults filled with our most precious secrets, government files, corporate blueprints, our personal info. All of it just sitting there, waiting for one specific day on the calendar they call Q-Day. That's the day a quantum computer finally comes online and makes all of our current locks completely useless.
So how in the world do you fight a threat that isn't even fully here yet? Well, thankfully, a cryptography expert, Dr. Michelle Mosca, gave us a tool. It's a surprisingly simple but incredibly powerful way to cut through all the noise and see this quantum threat for what it really is, an urgent, right-now kind of problem.
Okay, first we have the letter X. This is the shelf life of your data, or to put it simply, how long do your secrets need to stay secret? A marketing plan might not matter in a year, but what about the plans for a new fighter jet or your own private health records? We could be talking decades here, a whole lifetime even. Next up, we've got Y. This is the migration time. And honestly, this is the big reality check. How long would it really take you to upgrade your entire security system to be quantum proof? And, spoiler alert, it is not a quick software update. We're talking about a massive, probably years-long overhaul of pretty much everything. And finally, there's Q. This is the big one. Q is the countdown to Q-Day. It's that 0 hour when a quantum computer powerful enough to shatter today's encryption finally becomes a reality. And what are the experts saying? Well, the general consensus is it could be here in as little as 10 to 15 years. So, now we put it all together. Mosca's theorem really just boils down to this one simple and pretty stark equation. X plus Y is greater than Q. If the shelf life of your data plus the time it takes you to upgrade is a bigger number than the time we have until Q-Day, well, then you are already in some serious trouble. For the data being stolen today, the clock has already run out. I know, that might feel a little abstract, so let's make it real. We're going to run the numbers for a company, just a hypothetical one, and you are going to see exactly how this simple little formula can uncover a danger that is hiding in plain sight. Right, so let's pretend we have a company. Their most important secrets they need to stay secret for at least 10 years, so their X is 10. Their IT team did all the research, and they figure it's going to take them a solid 4 years to move everything over to quantum-safe systems, so that's their Y. And for Q, let's use a pretty aggressive guess. Let's say a dangerous quantum computer will be ready in 7 years. Now take a look at this. The bar on the left, that's the time you need, X plus Y, so 14 years. The bar on the right, that's the time you have, RQ, which is only 7 years. You see that massive gap? Yeah, that's the problem. The whole timeline is already broken. The math here is just brutal. 14 is obviously greater than 7. So this company, they're already 7 years behind schedule. The very data they're trying to protect today could be totally exposed long before their new security is even up and running. So you have to ask, if the math is this simple and the results are this terrifying, why isn't everybody scrambling to fix this right now? Well, it turns out the biggest obstacle isn't technical at all. It's human. And it has a name, crypto procrastination. Crypto procrastination is that very human thing we do where we put off a huge problem just because it feels far away. It is so easy to say, we'll deal with it later, especially when you have 100 other fires you need to put out today. But as the math just showed us, later is a really dangerous illusion. And Michelle Mosca, the guy who came up with the theorem, he totally nailed the problem. We get hung up asking, but when exactly is Q-Day going to happen?
That uncertainty becomes an excuse to do nothing, when really it should be the #1 reason we need to get moving. Honestly, the whole idea of waiting is just insane. It's like trying to replace the engines on an airplane while it's in the air. Trying to rush a security overhaul this big under pressure isn't just risky, it's a complete recipe for disaster. So let's be crystal clear about what happens when you delay. Every year you wait, you are basically creating a pressure cooker for your future self. That means a compressed timeline, which leads to way more mistakes and security gaps. And all the while, you're forgetting that adversaries are still out there, harvesting your data right now. Okay, so where do we go from here? The point of Mosca's theorem isn't to scare you. It's a tool. It's actually designed to turn this vague, far-off threat into a concrete, immediate action plan that you can use today. Really, the big takeaway is this. Quantum computing is coming, and it is going to rewrite the rules of the game. The question isn't if anymore, it's when. And even more important than that, the real question is, when will you be ready? And that's the real power of this little formula. It's not about fear, it's all about empowerment. It gives you a clear, logical way to build your own roadmap, to get that valuable head start before the clock finally runs out. And that really brings us to the final thought. The quantum clock is ticking for everyone. Using this formula, you can figure out your own deadline. So the real question you have to ask yourself isn't whether you need to act, but when does your migration begin